In this tutorial, we'll be focusing on the NVIDIA plugin for Photoshop. For this, we'll need a few texture files to help us test out the features of the NVIDIA plugin. The link below the video player will let you download the example files. Once the archive has downloaded, we can then copy it to our desktop and unpack the contents. In the resulting folder, we can find two texture files, an i3D file and an i3D point shapes file. If we now open the Create i3D file with the Giants editor, two warnings appear in the status window or scripting window, which tell us that the textures are in PNG format. We should take note of these messages and convert the corresponding textures into DDS files. And that's exactly what we'll do now. Now we switch from the Giants editor and start up Photoshop. First, we'll load create_diffuse PNG. The Giants engine uses two textures to properly depict a material. The diffuse map is the only texture that's compulsory, as it gives the material its actual color. Next, we'll load the file create_height PNG. We'll use this file to create a normal map. A normal map alters the surface of a material to produce details which have not been modeled as polygons. This allows you to give a depth and detail to an object that it would not normally have if modeled on its actual geometry. A classic example here would be a stone wall, where you only model a cuboid with the depressions between the individual stones being represented by a normal map. The NVIDIA plugin can calculate a normal map from a black and white height map. So if we want to create a normal map, we draw details that are higher up in bright shades of gray and the lower details in darker shades of gray. Now we select Filters, NVIDIA Tools, Normal Map Filter from the menu bar, and the corresponding plugin window opens. The settings should be set as follows. Filter type on Sample 4, as that produces the most accurate detail. Invert Y must be turned on, otherwise the texture in the Giants engine will be displayed inverted. The height source should be set to average RGB and the alpha field should be left unchanged. Finally, min Z should have a value of 0. The scale value adjusts the intensity of the resulting normal map. A good starting value is 4. If we find later that the normal map appears a little too flat, we can increase the value, or conversely we can lower it if we only want to create very fine details. Once we are satisfied with our settings, we press OK and our height map is converted to a normal map. Now we need to convert our textures to DDS format. From the menu, we then choose Files, Save. In the Save dialog, we pick D3D DDS as the file type. We shouldn't change the name of the file, otherwise the Giants engine will no longer be able to find this texture. So we now save our create_height PNG as create_height DDS, and an NVIDIA dialog opens again, letting us make adjustments to the DDS. Here it is very important that we select DXT1 No Alpha from the drop-down menu. All other formats are used only in very rare cases and only when they are absolutely necessary. As it's a 2D texture, we should always generate mipmaps by setting the value to All, letting us generate all mipmaps. Now we can click Save and the texture is saved as DXT1 DDS texture without an alpha channel and with all mipmaps. Depending on the size of the texture, the save process may take some time because of the compression needed. We'll now save the other textures in DDS format as well. Next, we can open the file Create i3D in the Giants editor. We now see the same box as before, but this time we have no warnings in the status bar, as we have loaded the optimized DDS textures instead of the more memory-intensive PNG files. Under Create Light, we can create a light source and can now see how the normal map has affected the appearance of our box.